So we switched from disposable email addresses, which just we couldn't make pay back in 2004, 2005, over to outbound mail delivery as a service, where obviously it makes a lot of sense, the concept of having channels of mail.
Sure. No,
So
and
similarly, rocket.net is an amazing concept. It's just a single, what, 5 letters word, that is so easy to tell other people about and have them just type it into their browser.
yeah, I mean, and to touch on mail channels, look, I've been in the industry a very long time, and we were moving a very large agency customer over. I think they had like 100 websites. And one of the things they really needed was the transactional emails, but not a lot, like password resets and with our platform, we can move a site from one part of the world to another in real time. And that means the IP can change behind the scenes. Doesn't affect delivery because of Cloudflare, but that would affect SPF records, as you can imagine. So
Mm.
we didn't really have a good solution. And we also don't want to be in the email game at all. It's a pain. So I started kind of looking around at what others were doing to solve this. And I ended up reverse engineering a couple of different solutions. And I was testing, can't remember the name of it, but I was testing another pretty big provider. I think Cloudways uses them. And then I was testing MailChannels. And within 4 hours, I was able to actually create a white label domain with wildcard records that covered, the SPF for mail channels and, the way that we creatively create unique email addresses on the fly for each website. But I was able to have XM recognize that domain. And if it matches my WP emails, then we're going to send it off the mail channels. Right.
Hmm.
So I was able to knock that out in like 4 hours, which is incredible. And I had to do a lot of custom stuff. Like there was a couple of examples out there for getting XM to play nice with it, but not in the exact way that I needed to do it. So I was able to get it working. And for us, it was just now we literally override the send mail path in PHP INI for anybody that needs to use it. And anytime it's my WP emails in the email address, it knows to use mail channels. Right. So we've been incredibly happy with it. It's solved a very big pain point that we had. But the next step for us is we're going to allow vanity domains. So that way a customer of ours can say, hey, I'm an e-commerce shop, especially with this WooCommerce product we're working on. I need my emails to be lobsteranywhere.com, right? So we're going to start, that's kind of our next phase. But over the last probably year and a half, I want to say that we've been working with MailChannels. It's been a great experience. And, it truly is a unique solution to the point where I was asked the other day by Dolly and they're like, who do you use for email? I'm like, oh, you got to use MailChannels. I'll do an intro. Right. And it's a very simple solution, but obviously a complex problem to solve.
I appreciate the flattery. I think if you want to win at any business, what you have to do is you have to obsessively solve a problem for one particular kind of customer and not stop doing that forever. And so whatever that kind of customer needs, you address that particular problem, no matter how hard it is. And if you do that, eventually you're the only one doing it. And there's nobody else who can do that, right? And I remember when we engaged with one particular large customer, they were having all kinds of problems delivering through one of the other transactional mail services that isn't really designed for hosting. And they got their IPs blocked by one of the big block lists. And the provider said, hey, you got to do some spam filtering here. That's why you're getting blocked. And they were like, well, what? You mean we don't know anything about spam filtering? And so they somehow found us. And in conversation early on, I remember their chief technical officer said, you guys are like, you're the only ones for this, aren't you? Like you're the guys. Kind of like we've got this other problem that we have to solve, and there's like one vendor that does that for us, and you guys are the guys for this particular problem within a problem within a problem. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah. But the challenge for us is there's a lot of noise in the email space. There's a lot of different providers
Especially right now, right?
right? They send transactional mail. How many? There's dozens and dozens of companies that send transactional mail, but their use case is absolutely not what hosting providers need, where
Right.
you have a shifting matrix of customers sending all kinds of random stuff all day long, and where abuse is actually the primary issue.
Absolutely.
If you're just looking for an individual account to send mail out to your mailing list, we're not that. Don't come to MailChannels. But if you're a provider and you have thousands of customers of your own who have thousands of their own users that you can't really control, that's our sweet spot.
Definitely.
you know
No,
yeah
it's literally a one-click integration for us.